The volume and variety of Dr. Fray Marshall's achievements is awe-inspiring. It takes over 50 pages just to list all his positions, books, articles, and inventions.
I look at Fray Marshall's resume, and it's not a resume, it's a book.
That, when you really are passionate about making a difference, it's there all the time. It sits in you. It's like a fire burning. And Fray had this fire burning inside him.
Despite his incredible resume, all you'll find on the walls of his office are his medical school degrees. Finding all the other honors and plaques is much more difficult.
They were just stacked on the floor, and I thought, well, what are we going to do with these? And he said, I just put them in a closet. So I had this idea that this was the bathroom off of his home office. So I started putting them up, and then before I knew it, they were all the way down the wall and all the way down another wall, and then the children got a big kick out of it.
That kind of humility wasn't an act. Fray Marshall believed it wasn't what you'd done, but what you were doing that was important.
I'm not attracted to people too much that push themselves or try to market themselves too much. You kind of are what you are, you take what you see.
And what people saw and heard when they met Dr. Marshall impressed them immediately.
Dr. Marshall is a man of incredible energy. He walks faster than others. His mind moves faster than others. The very energy in a room changes. Everyone's game gets upped when you meet Fray.
The man has charisma. You can't teach it, you can't learn it. It's either there or it's not, and he's got it.
Dr. Michael Johns met Fray Marshall when he was an intern at the University of Michigan.
He was brilliant, hard-charging. I like to say he knew where the goal line was. The rest of us didn't know there was a goal line.
He was more than energetic. Fray Marshall was endlessly curious and inventive. From surgery to urology to oncology, he was always imagining, collaborating, pushing boundaries.
The operations that Fray Marshall had developed, the ways of thinking about problems in cancer and non-cancer diagnoses, are things that Fray brought to fruition. He has changed the very nature of the field.
Emory wanted some of that passion and energy. They recruited Dr. Marshall to help create a new department of urology. And as it turned out, Fray Marshall was ready for a different sort of challenge.
I think he was truly taken by the fact that he could be even more impactful, not as an individual, but by his personality and leadership. He could lead a whole cadre of individuals in the faculty to do great things.
You had your MRI this morning?
And that's just what he did, taking what was a section of general surgery and turning it into one of the most prestigious urology departments in the country. A department that fields nearly 300 applications a year for 3 residencies.
My job is I work for the people in the department. They don't work for me. I work for them.
And together, they've lined the walls of the urology clinic with their research papers and made it a destination for patients from around the country. Patients like Chuck Warren.
I remember him walking in the room, and my thought was, he looks like who I want my doctor to look like.
He came to Dr. Marshall after being diagnosed with prostate cancer.
I immediately went online and started calling friends that had been through this. And about everywhere I called, everybody recommended Fray Marshall. And I said, well, there must be something to this Dr. Fray Marshall.
Despite the demanding standards he set for himself professionally, Fray Marshall was devoted to his family and his wife, Lindsay. But they always knew his passion for medicine would come at a price.
He's a visionary. He thinks out of the box. I just had to share him with the world.
Dr. Marshall's office is empty now, but the department he helped build continues to grow and prosper. Of all his long list of achievements, that was what he most wanted recognized.
He's a model that all young people who want to lead a department ought to be emulating. Actually, it's a good person to model your whole career after.